Should I go again?
No. Lexi, I've seen enough.
The intimacy of her direct address to the camera, right from the top, I think landed us in a great grounded place, deeply vulnerable, and that vulnerability was palpable. As an actor myself, I know the roller coasters of the business, the struggles of putting your vulnerability and your innocence, like as a 2-year-old who just is ready to play and to be open, and that rejection, and sometimes the abuse that happens with that kind of vulnerability, was really captured by this piece. Really good pacing and space for the scenes to unfold and carry the gravity and the full emotional weight of these scenarios. The ending also really tied it together in a deeply poetic and thoughtful way. So I was surprised by the piece, and I loved the shifting throughout as well.
I really enjoyed seeing her go through a whole character arc, and it was interesting to sort of see the struggle that she goes through. And I think many actors, young actors, aspiring actors, go through the same thing, and to see that being portrayed is it's nice to see, and it's kind of interesting to see how she has a support system through her friend to kind of get her through that. But what I think is even more interesting about this short is how she is able to have a confrontation with the person who sort of, put doubt in her love for acting and put doubt in her ability to act. So that sort of confrontation scene was really interesting and important. And I think not a lot of actors do get that. So to be able to see that in this short, I think was really quite powerful, and maybe it might inspire people, not just actors, but whoever it may be, to sort of find a reconciliation or try to figure out what a block is that you're having in a specific avenue of your life, or maybe a career or something you're trying to pursue. So I think that was interesting because I think a lot with when it comes to performing arts, there's tends to be quite a bit of ego involved, and I don't know how realistic it would be to have someone who sort of tampered with your or dampened your dreams, and then be able to get an apology or sort of at least confront them in a way. But for her, I think that was a great sort of character arc for her and was very important, and it was quite inspiring. I did enjoy also the sort of contrast between the backgrounds of the audition scenes. So starting off with the sort of more dull blue in the beginning of the short where she's auditioning, and she even seems a bit more nervous, and then at the end where it's brighter red, and that sort of shows how she feels now kind of going through this journey. So I think that was really well done.
To me, represents the feeling of rejection after an audition and the joy that you find when you make peace with accepting, whatever is to come. Like the dancing with the bottle of wine is for me a release. It's her saying, I'm going to be good regardless of how bad this audition was. And as a life as an actor, that's something that you have to do. You have to find a way to release yourself from those disappointments. And then she goes into these inebriated monologues about love and heartbreak. You're seeing so many emotions from this actress. And I just feel like overall, this is just to represent the life of an actor. It's highs and there's lows. There's moments where you feel like, oh, I'm gonna be fine. There's moments where you feel like the world is gonna end if you don't get to achieve your dream. And those moments can happen within an instant. It could be it's a roller coaster. And you see her friend trying to help her because she's holding herself back in her acting for some reason. And this dialogue is so true to life because I feel like I've had these conversations before with actors, and even myself in trying to figure out what it is that brought about this insecurity. And so, in confronting what brought about this insecurity within her, she finds out that them bringing out the insecurity in her was really a way of masking their own insecurity. And it's a cycle when you're dealing with a creative lifestyle, whether it's acting or anything like that. There's someone that is deciding that you're good enough. And a lot of times, the people that are deciding that you are good enough were not good enough themselves to do what you're doing.
Some really great performances here, despite what that casting director in the first scene thought. I did enjoy that scene, though. The way it was so obvious, the rejection was so obvious, which was important to the story. I just love the way that played. And I just loved a lot of little things like that about this piece. Overall, it was really enjoyable. Just put together well, powerful and simple and beautiful. It was really a strong piece.
You can definitely relate to her struggles, her hardships of that self-doubt where you have your dreams, you have your passions, but you always have those people who tell you that you'll never amount to your dreams, just quit while you're ahead. And I appreciate the message it's saying to keep fighting for the things that you're passionate about. And it's was very ugly what that man did, where it also shows how much you can mess someone up by, in order to save face, just putting someone else down. It was a very vile thing that he did. But the ending was also very sweet. I like that despite the doubts, she kept pushing. And I think that's a good ideal to go by. Like, no matter what, you'll never achieve success if you don't try.
From the beginning at the audition, where she kind of, her passion was gone and was really frustrated, and then how she dealt with it with music and dance and alcohol. But I really liked the music and dance, and then where she kind of went into the different monologue scenes, and it reminded me of like, this is what I should have done or would have done, or how I, or maybe even how she was just feeling, and she was expressing it through these little monologues. I just thought that was a cute, creative way to show her frustration and going through whatever she was going through. And showing then I really liked the conversation with her, and it was either her boyfriend or her friend. Seemed like more of a friend or roommate, the guy that she was talking to about acting, and then the exercise they did. I really loved all of that. I thought that was a really great scene, showing, what she was going through. Because at first I wasn't sure where the focus was, but then as we went along, it became more clear. I really liked the scene where the acting teacher was, I thought it was just an acting class, but I guess they worked on a film together too, but how he was just really tearing her down, and how that affects someone. They go off and it really affects their whole life, where the other person goes off and doesn't think twice about it, or maybe does, but doesn't really do anything about it. It's just, there's a little lesson there about how you can affect somebody, so to be careful what you do. I also really loved the scene where she was looking at herself in the mirror. I just felt like it was a deep sort of, let me look at myself and figure out what's going on right now and different emotions you go through. And just really looking at yourself, and being aware of what's going on and what's happening and why you're feeling the way you're feeling. And the end had the poetry and the music at the end as well. I thought that was different. It was just a really different, there were so many different elements in this. I thought it was really interesting, and just a creative way of showing all these different, expressions of this one person.
I definitely identify with Lexi. As somebody who's like questioning, like, am I good enough? Am I cut out for this field or whatever? We may not be acting, but it's like directing, writing, whatever, anything like in the artsy entertainment, mass media world. that like self-doubt. I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. And I bet it's even worse for actors. And this film really showed that. That actress, the girl who played Lexi, was excellent. I really felt for her. She really brought all of the whole gamut of emotions. And it was really well written. So